네, 지금
어,
저기 도경 학생 들어오면 시작하면 되고 녹화
네.
시작했으니까 발표하시면 됩니다.
네. 들리시나요?
네,
네,
네. Hello, my name is Do Kyung Kim, and today I will present the research I worked on for past 3 weeks, and it's about how ionized calcium may improve osteoporosis progressions in postmenopausal women. So I will briefly explain background on osteoporosis, experimental setup, results, and finally a discussion of our findings. So osteoporosis is a musculoskeletal disease when the bone architecture collapses, leading to decreasing bone mass, strength, and rigidity. It can be classified into two types: type 1, which is caused by estrogen deficiency during menopause, and type 2, which is caused by the aging. So our study specifically focused on type 1, which is also known as postmenopausal osteoporosis. So as we age, bones naturally becomes weaker and damaged. To maintain bone health, the body undergoes continuous bone turnover, consisting of two metabolic phases, such as bone resorptions and bone formations. So bone resorptions by osteoclast is the removal of old and damaged bone, and the bone formation by osteoblast is the generations of new bones to replace them. So during bone turnover, mineralization plays a critical role in forming hydroxyapatite, which is a crystalline structure made mostly of calcium and phosphate, and the main mineral components of the bone. The process is essential for maintaining bone strength and mass because calcium depositions reinforces the structural integrity of bone. Osteoporosis results from an imbalance on this turnover process where bone resorptions exceeds the bone formations. This can be triggered by multiple factors, such as change in hormones, aging, or dietary factors. Skeletal development and maintenance is highly regulated process. When estrogen levels drop dramatically during menopause, it disrupts the balance in the homeostasis. So during postmenopausal period, the lack of estrogens reduces the calcium absorptions and also overactivates osteoclast, which leads to the accelerated bone resorptions and weakened bones. And finally, it ends up the osteoporosis. So moving to our experimental settings, for this research, the calcium was extracted from oyster clamshells under high temperature and pressure. So once ingested, calcium dissociates into an ionized form in the stomach, and that's the only form observed through the intestinal linings. So in our research, to enhance its absorptions, we use ionized calcium citrate, which has higher bioavailability than other calcium forms. It was also co-administered with magnesiums, which support calcium uptake and osteoblast differentiations. To determine the optimal dosage of calcium, we conducted a cell viability assay using pre-osteoblastic mouse cell line. And the cells were treated with various concentrations of ionized calcium along with parathyroid hormones, which stimulates both calcium absorptions and bone formations. So what we found is the cell viability stayed above 80% for up to 48 hours across all concentrations. However, 2.4 millimole concentrations viability dropped significantly after 72 hours, likely due to disrupted calcium homeostasis, like hypercalcemia, and increased oxidative stress, which triggers the programmed cell death. So as a result, 2.4 millimole concentration was excluded, but 1.8 millimoles was selected as the optimal concentration for further experiment. And there are three standard biomarkers for osteogenesis. The first, alkali phosphatase. It is an early marker of osteoblast differentiations. Like figures on top here, the stronger purple staining was observed in the calcium-treated group, and these represent increased rate of osteoblast differentiations with high ALP activity. The second one is osteocalcin, and it is a late-stage marker involved in calcium and phosphate deposition during mineralizations. So in our results, the control has slightly higher osteocalcin levels until day 7. And this is because osteocalcin expressions may be delayed in the calcium group because it might take some time for cells to adapt to increased calcium levels. But after day 10, the ionized calcium group showed greater osteocalcin expressions. And these again represent enhanced bone formations over time with presence of ionized calcium. And lastly, to quantify mineralizations, a laser staining was employed, which binds to calcium in hydroxyapatite. The induced group with presence of calcium shows stronger red staining, like this area, and especially after day 10 and onward. And this indicates enhanced mineralizations. To model postmenopausal osteoporosis, we use an OVX mouse models. We surgically remove the ovaries and fallopian tubes to resemble the loss of ovarian functions and estrogens after menopause. So as expected, the mice manifest the collapse of bone microstructure, accelerated bone resorptions, and decreased bone mass. So using this model, we could evaluate the therapeutic effects of ionized calcium in vivo. We got multiple parameters to measure the bone status of the mice, which include bone mineral densities, bone volume fractions, trabecular thickness, separations and number, body weight, and micro-CT image for bone structure. Compared to the untreated OVX group, the ionized calcium group has increased bone mineral density, volume fractions, trabecular thickness, trabecular number, and also decreased trabecular separations. So these findings suggest the trabecular network becomes more compact, stronger, and thicker, and the bone volume increases. So we could conclude ionized calcium treatment can reverse the osteoporotic changes and also restore the bone architecture. And these findings were further supported by micro-CT images. It shows more dense trabecular structure in the calcium-treated group, like seen in the bottom, which is compared to the porous structure in OVX mice, which is found on the top here. And we also tracked the body weight over 9 weeks to see if there's any abnormal systemic side effects. So as seen in the graph, the calcium group has the similar weight trends like the reference group without any abnormal spikes. So which means ionized calcium is proven to be as effective as other calcium analogs, but without disrupting any hormonal balance. So in summary, our study proved ionized calcium can effectively promote osteoblast activities and bone mineralizations, both in vitro and vivo experiments. We saw improvements in various areas like ALP activities, osteocalcin expressions, mineralized nodal formations, and bone density structure from the micro-CT analysis. So the results suggest ionized calcium is a potential safe and effective therapy for osteoporosis with high relevance for humans like postmenopausal women. So despite the calcium concentration was kind of slightly lower than the amount of recommended intake, it would be sufficient in consider to other calcium analogs from dietary intakes or etc. Thank you for listening.
Okay. Okay. I have a question, Tokyo. What is the purpose of this experiment?
Purpose.
Main purpose of this experiment.
Um, to see how ionized calcium improves the osteoporosis, especially in postmenopausal women.
Well, everybody knows that the calcium does does improve the osteoporosis for women already, and that they're using the supplement. But for this experiment, we are not looking for the that calcium itself does improve the osteoporosis. But what we are looking for? What is the main purpose of this experiment?
Main purpose.
Yes.
Um, there are kind of many types of calcium supplement, but especially postmenopausal women, they got like the lack of estrogen, which means their calcium absorption is like significantly dropped. So to assess how our calcium component overcomes that challenges, no.
So I think already told several times because you're from the Department of Pharmacy, and I said why we're using different concentration, why we treat the different time point, why. So we did. I asked why you're doing this, right? As or you, if you're pharmacologist, then why I'm doing this time and dose dependence assay.
Um, you mean the different calcium concentration?
Why? So I said there's a whole bunch of things. Why? Because we're using less calcium, like less ionized calcium than normal calcium level instead of like using. So for this one, we adding the vitamin D with the ionized calcium. So why we're using this? Why? Why we are doing dose and time dependent assay?
Um, because we don't know how much calcium can be absorbed in the body after the menopause. So
Yes, but
that's why we're assessing like different range of calcium first, and then using the optimal concentration, we conducted the vivo experiment.
so I said, what's the main purpose? Why we are doing this? It's a very simple reason why.
Mm, um, sorry, I have no idea.
So we are trying to do a critical experiment, right? So
Mhm.
we have to make an optimal dose and time point of treatment. And why we're doing that? If we miss the time point and then optimal dosage, what happened? What happened
Sorry.
to the patient? If we miss the optimal time point and dosage, what happened?
Oh,
If we do the
yeah, the cell died.
no, I said we have eventual thing. Why?
Because of the hypercalcemia.
Yes. So if we not getting the optimal doses, if we do the overdoses with the we miss the longer treatment time, it may have suffer with the hypercalcemia later. And if it treated the less dose and time, what happens is you're not getting enough like bone formation such as the mineralization for the bone who doesn't have like proper concentration of calcium, right?
Mm-hmm.
So so the all thing is the thing we're doing this experiment, we had later we are trying to do the clinical trial for the other people. That's the reason we're doing the start experiment. Like we say, it's a pilot experiment, right?
Yeah.
Also, the whole presentation itself is too fast. And
Okay.
for the whole presentation, if you know how to do the if I know because I designed the whole experiment and everything, so I know what is going on. But if you think it's a first timer, you
Mm,
cannot understand anything because the you put the too much text, and then I recommend you will add the text, you will add some image instead of text.
okay. All right.
If it's a too much word, it's hard to understand.
All right. Yeah.
And for the result, I think you don't have to show everything in the result because there's in 03 for slide number that is slide number 11, right? And then you in that slide you only need to show the effective picture. So which is the when you treat the ionized calcium has a more the better effect than the overoptimized mice. So it has to make it clear for the two picture. So when we do the just experiment, when you make a paper or journal paper, you have to show all four with a positive and negative control. But if you make the presentation, you only show the effective one. You only show for the OBX and for the calcium treated. And as you see, only for two picture, you can actually show the definite results. So that's the one you have to show, and then also explaining the weight mass. So what is the purpose of the calculating weight mass every week?
Weight mass, this one.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it to see if there is any abnormal systemic side effects like hormonal imbalance?
Well, it for after you after mice have been overoptimized, the hormone changes everything. But why we're checking the weight?
Because especially for postmenopausal women, they got like lack of estrogen leading to weight gain.
No, no, no. I'm asking why there's all three have like only sham doesn't take off the ovary, but other three take off the ovary. And why we're checking for the weight? Why? There's a two reason for that.
Estrogen drop?
No.
No. Um,
Um,
mm, to see the increase in bone density.
no. What happens is if women become post-menopause, what happened?
They got weight. They got weight
By what?
by um, decrease in hormone production.
So from that reason, what happened?
There's kind of disruption in homeostasis.
So you have homeostasis and what happened? So simple, make it simple.
The body loses the control over.
No, no. You say it's gain weight, right? Then
Yes,
if it's if the people gain weight, what does that mean? What is increasing?
fat.
Yes, its fat is increasing. And also another thing, why we're doing this experiment. I think I told you before, but so if your drug is overdosed when you do the experiment, what happened to the weight?
Um,
If it's a lethal dose,
uh, sorry, could you repeat that again, please?
okay, if you put your like if you have a certain drug to test for animal test, and if it is overdose, what happened with the weight?
Gain.
Hmm?
If
What
it's
happened to overdose? What happened?
the weight increases because of the side effects.
No,
Hmm.
I say it's an overdose. I told you about there's the effective dose versus lethal dose, ED and LD.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened to LD? What happened to cell line with LD when reached the LD?
Mm.
So what happened is a what does it mean a result dose to cell itself? What happened?
Mm. Mm. Hypercalcemia.
No, I say it's a general. What's the LD means? Lethal dose means.
Cytotoxicity.
Well, it is cytotoxicity. Cytotoxic. No, it's not a cytotoxicity. And what happened to the cell? So what kind of form you can get if it's overdose?
So in terms of what?
So cell dies, and if cell dies, and what happened to the weight of the animal? So I say why we're doing this experiment kind of thing.
Oh, because when it's overdosed, the cell dies. That means like there must be decrease in body weight. So to show there's no cellular death or cytotoxicity by the supplements, we measure the body weight.
So what does that mean? What does that three like OBX overoptimizes? There's a three OB overoptimized mice. Then the actual weight is almost similar. What does that mean?
They are under normal status.
They're good. Yeah, they're good, and they're good to do the experiment for 9 weeks, and their condition is similar. That's the why is we're checking the weight.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
최영준 선생님 질문 있으신가요?
네, 저는 한 가지만 질문드립니다. I have one question. Actually, during the discussion with Professor Kim, I searching for the normal treatment of the osteoporosis after the human woman menopause. Mostly the two types of calcium used. One is calcium carbonate.
Mhm.
The other one was calcium citrate.
Yep.
And in this study, you also used the calcium citrate, right? So uh, the meaning that the calcium citrate is already used for treatment of the osteoporosis. That means why you try these studies? This is your calcium citrate is noble.
Oh, because we were using our unique compound,
Unique compound.
yes, which is extracted from the oyster clamshells.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we are using our unique compound, which is ionized calcium, and it's extracted from the oyster clamshells, like here.
No,
Uh,
it's not a extract from the we
ionized calcium citrate obtained from oyster
clam
clam
shell.
shells,
Mhm.
but mainly ionized calcium, right? ionized calcium citrate, right?
Yes.
So the exactly same component with commercially useful the treatment for osteoporosis, right? It's different.
Yeah, I guess it's different. Professor Kim.
Only one is different. It is from the oyster
Mhm.
clamshell.
Yes.
Because we cannot but use ionized calcium for the treatment of osteoporosis, right? I found all the treatment for calcium supplement for osteoporosis use the ionized form of calcium.
Mhm.
The Gemini told me about that. So what is the unique finding in this the unique result of this your study here?
I believe we are not only using the ionized calcium, but we also use magnesiums to enhance the absorptions. So that's might be the difference from others.
Ah,
Yeah.
so use a calcium magnesium combination
Yes.
instead of calcium citrate only.
Mhm.
Okay. Then main purpose is finding the effect of magnesium ion co-treated with calcium citrate, right? Right?
Yes,
Ah,
I guess so. Yeah.
okay. Mm. So because I question about that because calcium citrate is already popular drug for treatment of osteoporosis.
Yeah.
Mm. So magnesium co-treatment effect of magnesium. Then you need to confirm the effect of the calcium citrate only, not combined with the magnesium in the animal study, OBX model, right?
Yes.
Because I guess the calcium citrate the study in animal model would be the already done. So in this study, you combine the magnesium, so you need to see the effect of calcium citrates, right? Hmm? Okay. Anyway, you the performed all the experiments for the study.
I just received the data.
Receive data, but
Uh,
actually, when somebody present confluent in English as with in confluent English, it's like that. Even he or she know completely. It's like the very, very smart. Looks smart, right? I don't know. Mm. Okay, good, very good. Mm. Okay.
right.
Mm. Good job.
Thank you.
Other question from the students or no? Any
Sheba,
question?
Sheba,
Yes, Professor.
can you give us one question? So this is study about osteoporosis in the post-menopausal model.
Maybe my question is, the presentation was really nice. Thank you. I wanted to ask you in the introduction, you mentioned two types of osteoporosis in postmenopausal women, and there's also the other common type for both genders. So maybe my question was, why was the focus of the study particularly for type 1 and not the other one? Maybe I didn't understand. Well,
Oh, because postmenopausal women, they have the decreased absorptions of calcium, like compared to the man, because of the drop in estrogen levels. So we were trying to find how we could improve the calcium absorptions when the woman enters the postmenopausal period.
okay, thank you.
더 질문 있으신 분 있어요? 성현 학생 질문 있어요?
아니요, 없습니다.
알겠습니다. 원래 이 실험 사실은 저기 그 정윤서 선생님이랑 같이 진행했던 실험이고 결론은 원래 임상까지 가려고 했었다가 중간에 그 저기 연구비를 제대로 제공하는 바람에 지금 이 상태에서 끝난 그 논문입니다, 사실은. 그래서 사실 여기에서 보강을 더 하고 싶기도 하고 한데 지금 저희가 저기 연구비를 여기에서 투자하면서 굳이 할 필요가 없어서 지금 있는 이 내용 가지고만 지금 퍼블리싱을 시키려고 지금 준비를 하고 있는 거라. 그래서 아마 제가 말을 많이 바꾸고 아마 많이 집어 넣어야 될 것 같은 논문입니다, 사실은 여기에는. 디스커션도 하고, 리저트, 그러니까 기존에 있는 논문하고 같이 섞어가지고 이제 디스커션에 다 내용을 다 설명을 하고 해야 되니까, 이게 아시겠지만 다른 학생들도 만약에 연구 결과 안 나왔다고 저기 석사 과정 때 연구가 안 나왔다고 자기 졸업 못 한다고가 아니고 어떻게 하면 이걸 잘 디스커션 쪽에서 잘 예쁘게 만들 수 있는 게 중요한 거지 실험 2년 동안 뭐 결과 안 났다고 논문 못 나오는 거 아니에요? 뭐 못 나올 수도 있지만 그건 아예 못할 경우지만 그런 경우는 제가 보기에는 거의 없는 것 같은데 그렇지 않습니까, 최영민 선생님?
아닌데요.
아 그런가요?
예. 저는 그 뭐야, 아주대에서 석사 6년 하고 나가는 사람 봤는데요.
정말요?
예, 6년 하고 그 사람이 네이처 커뮤니케이션 하나 내고 가더라고요.
아
예, 엄청
그거는
잘하는, 예,
엄청이 아니고 그걸 석사를 박사를 가야 되는 거 아닌가요? 그 정도면?
예, 그러더라고요. 박사 안 하고 석사 하고 가던데요. 네이처 내더니 가더라고요.
어, 아 그리고 제가 저기 갔다가 저기 다음 주 말고 제가 금요일 날 도착하면 슬라이드 하나 제가 공유를 해드릴게요. 뭐냐면 지금 제가 찍었는데 그 내용이 뭐냐면 저기 그 프로스테트 캔서 있지 않습니까?
네,
거기에서 이제 그 ATGL 넉아웃 시켜가지고 페로토시스 나오는 그걸 들었어요. 그래서 그걸 제가 저기 프레젠테이션 다 사진을 찍어놨어요.
ATGL이 뭐예요?
그게 아데포스 트라이그리세이드 라이페이즈예요.
아디포스 트라이글라이사이드
트라이그리세이드 라이페이즈.
라이페이즈.
네.
오,
그러니까 그 내용 혹시 도움이 될 것 같아서 제가
네,
슬라이드를 다 지금 제가 다 사진을 찍어놨으니까 제가 PDF 파일로 해서 정리해서 제가 드리겠습니다.
예, AT,
네,
AT, 아디포스,
ATGL,
G,
트라이그리세라이드 라이페이즈.
아까워.
그냥
이,
이게 넉아웃 시켜서 했던데, 이 랩이 어디 랩이라면, 잠시만요. 이 랩이,
네.
여기가 저기 다니엘 프리고 저기 유니버시티 텍사스의 앤더슨 캔서 센터에서 했던 사람이더라고요.
음, 예. 소개해 주세요. 재밌겠는데.
네, 네,
예.
그거 제가 그 아시겠지만 학교에서 녹음은 시키지 말라고 해서 녹음은 못 시켰고 일단 슬라이드만 제가 사진은 다 찍어놨으니까 제가 그거 공유를 해드릴게요. 저도 그냥 들어갔다가 이 페러스시스 내용이 들어올 줄은 저도 전혀 생각을 못해서
음,
나머지는 캔서 쪽 하는 거는 지금 하긴 했는데 저희 쪽하고 관련이 좀 없는 것 같아서 거기는 브레스트 캔서 쪽 얘기를 했는데 이게 뭐 스파시어 트랜스크로토믹스로 한 거고 그다음에 또 하나도 브레스트 캔서 관련해서 에스트로겐 리셉터 가지고 그 브레스트 캔서 관련해서 한 거였는데 이것까지 다 저기 공유 원하시면 제가 다 슬라이드 다 공유는 해드리겠습니다.
네. 네, 알겠습니다. 예.
네네네. 그렇게 하면 될 것 같고 다음 주는 아마도 저기 최영주 선생님 랩에서 진행을 하시면 될 것 같고요.
네.
그리고 아마 이거 엔도에서 나온 저 이제 발표할 때가 이제 그 저도 시차 좀 적응 좀 하고 머리 좀 식혀야 되니까 곧바로 준비하기는 거의 불가능할 것 같아서 다다음 주에 제가 그 내용 정리한 거 PT로 정리를 해서 제가 한번 발표를 해야지 학생들도 그 요즘에 뭐 하고 있는지 지금 알 수가 있을 테니까 그렇게 일단은 진행을 하겠습니다. 지금 정윤서 선생님 주무시고 계세요?
지금 이 시간에 주무셨어. 적응 잘하시네요.
아니요. 저기 뭐냐면, 저 지금 어제도 3시간밖에 못 자고, 어제도 밤에 저기, 줌 미팅 있어서 못 자고, 지금도 사실은 지금 새벽 2시 40분 정도 되거든요. 근데 아까 지금 여기 시간으로 11시부터 여기 하기 전에 계속 줌 미팅 있었는데, 이거 끝나고 다시 또 줌 미팅 다시 들어가야 돼서. 그러니까, 하여간 샌프란시스코 춥습니다. 좋긴 한데, 춥습니다.
네. 고생하십니다. 이렇게 고생하긴. 네.
뭐 원래 원해서
주무셔야죠.
저 재밌어. 예?
예, 주무셔야죠.
아니 뭐
주무셔.
조금만
그래야지
더.
내일, 지금 안
내일
주면 지금
마지막
오후 되면은 또 멍해집니다.
그 내일 마지막 날이라서 오후가 없습니다. 요즘 오후가 없습니다.
내일 그러면 오세요? 비행기 타세요?
아니요. 저는 저기 거기 가가지고 이제 관광이라는 걸 좀 하고 끝나 오후에 그 다음에 그 다음 날 이제 수요일 날 비행기 타고 오고요. 정윤호 선생님은 또 다른 팀에서 또 그분도 또 관광하셔서 또 가고 그래서 그러고 나서 이제 저는 이제 저기 목요일 날 11시에 도착하는 것 같습니다. 밤 11시.
요. 저기, 잘 있다, 편하게 오세요. 건강하게 오세요.
네네네. 감기만 안 걸리면 되니까. 그리고 저기 이정우 경기 봤습니다.
네?
오타니하고 이정우 경기 봤습니다.
예, 예. 예.
네, 예. 알겠습니다. 그러면은
네.
저기 동영 학생 수고 많으셨고요.
네, 감사합니다.
나머지 코멘트 할 게 너무 많아가지고 내가 아까 보고서 이거 못했는데 코멘트 많이 해야 돼요. 많이 수정해야 돼요.
네.
알겠습니다. 수고하셨고요. 그럼 다음 주에 뵙겠습니다.
네, 수고하셨습니다.
수고하셨습니다.
네.